recently, the National Center for Disease Control conducted a serological survey in Delhi.
Yeah.
Our audience would like to understand what a serological survey is and how is it done. And are the reports that come out of the survey accurate?
Okay, so very good question. Sero survey, I mean, it's not new. It's very it's a technology. It's a tool to identify the antibodies against an infection in a population. So I'll give you a background. Generally, sero surveys were done in India or previously for immunization programs like for polio. It's recommended that the sero survey in a population should be more than 90%. Mean the antibody should be present against polio in 90% of the individual, more than 90% of the individuals, to identify whether the immunization program is going well or not. If it's less, then you have to keep doing the immunization program again and again. Now, this method is also very, very useful to identify asymptomatic cases, to identify sporadic cases where you cannot contact trace, or the cases where you cannot identify the source of infection. So what happens is that you take districts or sub-districts or regions or populations where you are finding large number of individuals positive with coronavirus, but you are not able to contact, trace, or identify the source of infection. So you cannot delineate a boundary between normal general population and a hotspot region, and also you cannot to identify how many people have actually contracted the disease. So you do a sero survey, you do antibody tests for a particular region that has been predefined. You take random sampling, create a small subset and do random sampling of the population, and then you check what's the prevalence of antibodies in those particular individuals. That can tell you three things. First, as I told you, the percentage of the population who has contracted the infection, and they might have recovered, or something. So the person, so like in Delhi, you have recently identified around 23% of the population has contracted the virus, or they have been exposed to this. This includes both symptomatic and asymptomatic individuals. So a lot of asymptomatic people also were tested here, because this is random sampling. You don't look at the symptoms, you just take samples randomly from people. The second thing it does is that people where you cannot identify the source of infection, at least now you can mark from the district where exactly you have collected the samples and where the patients who were positive are coming from, and create a boundary around that region to create a new hotspot or create new markers or delineate those areas. This is very important since the infection numbers are rising rapidly. Sero survey should be done overlappingly every week and in overlapping regions and boundaries of a city or of a state. And this is the only way by which you can identify the source of infection, or the boundaries where the infection is prevailing without anybody knowing. And asymptomatic, as you know, that almost 80% to 85% people are asymptomatic. So it's really challenging to identify those people. So sero survey is something which can give you some data points to identify this. So on a smaller population, you generate some data and then you extrapolate it to the population.
So then these results are usually accurate?
Yes. So the mathematical models which are used, they are proven. I mean, see, it's again like a herd immunity. These are mathematical and theoretical algorithms, but they are fairly accurate in judging and identifying what's the prevalence and where the infection is going in terms of tracing, or how it is moving in a particular direction in a particular state or country.
Thanks, Mr. Maurya. That makes it quite clear about the Sero survey.